with the announcement of Sergio Perez departing Red Bull Racing after the 2024 season, this announcement was made December 18th of 2024. This raises a number of questions for Red Bull Racing and its future. The first being is who is going to take the coveted second seat at Red Bull? We know the attrition rate of that seat is horrendous, to say the least. First, we had Pierre Gasly, who was promoted, who was quickly dropped for Alexander Albon, who was also then quickly dropped for Sergio Perez. And for a time, he looked like he could be the perfect wingman, be the Valtteri Bottas to Max Verstappen. However, that quickly proved not to be the case, given the car is specifically, well, there are a number of reasons, but I'd rather not get into it. Now, the common answer would be either Yuki Tsunoda or Liam Lawson. If recent reports are to be believed, it looks like it will be Liam Lawson. Whether or not I agree with it, I don't. It is what it is. Even though it should be Yuki. However, there is also a possibility that they could bring in someone from the left field. With the absence of Sergio Perez and the huge amount of sponsor money he brings, you need someone who will perform well or someone who brings in a lot of sponsors. Carlos Sainz would have been the best pick because he brings in both. However, he looks like at least he is signed with Williams and he plans to stick there at least for the next season unless Kimi doesn't work out. But that's not the point of this video. Or they could bring in someone like Valtteri Bottas. I know a lot of fans have been requesting for Daniel Ricciardo, but he really just seems done with Formula One, and I don't blame him. The way Red Bull has done him dirty, and now Checo dirty, he needs his time away. He needs to do his thing. He needs to recuperate and not come back as a driver. I think he's had enough. They could also pull a Franco Colapinto, someone who is not from their junior academy, but then what's the point of their junior academy? The second question is, what are they going to do with this significant decrease in budget? And while, yes, the point could be made that Max Verstappen brings in a lot, and he does, but Checo Perez brought in Latin America, a lot of it. Most of the merchandise that was sold by Red Bull Racing officially was Checo Perez merchandise. And that is a huge deficit that they will now have to face. If they had someone who has massive sponsor appeal like a Daniel Ricciardo or Carlos Sainz, that could have been counteracted, but clearly both of them are off the table. So what are they going to do about that? Can they sufficiently survive without Honda for 2026, without a massive influx of funding that Checo Perez brought in? Those are questions they're going to have to discuss. Now, the third question is Helmut Marko long for Red Bull? I think the answer to that question is a very simple no. If you look at the decisions Red Bull has made, they have been decisions that Helmut Marko has wanted to make, and they have backfired significantly. Firing Nick De Vries for Daniel Ricciardo, sure, people liked it because they liked Daniel. Daniel wasn't performing, then dropping him for Liam Lawson did not go well. They did not give him a farewell, and frankly speaking, people hated on Liam Lawson. At first I was like, why are you hating on him? And then I saw him race and the shit that he pulled with Checo, with Fernando, with Carlos, with Colapinto, and so many other drivers. I'm not sure replacing him for Perez would be a smart PR move, if we're being honest. I mean, the third question is, what are they going to do for PR? They have had horrendous PR, especially with Daniel Ricciardo, now with Checo Perez, and who's going to take the second seat. And if reports are to believe it's Liam Lawson, it's going to be a shitstorm that everyone is going to rail their ass for, if we're being honest. Now, the second thing, going back to the Helmut Marko question, I don't think Helmut Marko is going to be staying for long. I think the decisions he has made and the amount of backlash he's had this season particularly is far too great to let go. Helmut Marko has pushed this team in a good direction, but so has Christian Horner. I mean, they both have done questionable things, to say the least. But if one has to go, I'd rather it be Helmut Marko, who is questionable, to say the least, particularly toward his behavior of Yuki Tsunoda and the, racially coded questions that he's made. So I think it's time. But yeah, those are, I think, the top questions that Red Bull needs to consider going into the 2025 season. Can they afford a shitstorm, especially with a huge financial loss of not only paying out Sergio, but also his sponsors leaving because they're not going to stay. We saw that with Ferrari, and again, on a smaller scale because Ferrari is Ferrari, but it's still something that should be brought up when having this discussion. Is that something that they can afford? A massive PR disaster and a massive financial disaster? I don't think so. And I think that's the reason why they haven't announced the second seat, because they know if in a backfire, if it is Liam Lawson, and maybe who knows, it might be a third choice that we aren't even considering. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and if you were here until this video, until now, comment Cheeto in the video.